Hey, I see myself looking over at a thing. There we go. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDO stream, youtube.com/Dungeons and Dragons/live, and facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. Thanks very much for being here. I am the DDO Community Manager Cordovan, and it's been been a while. I've been doing vacations, heading on the road for various trips, and last week at Gen Con, so I did not have a show last week, but I am back, and we've got some announcements, because we said some stuff at Gen Con. I will be talking about that today. I'm going to be on Lamania to show you a little bit about the Hardcore League, and then we'll just do some general Q&A, kind of whatever is on your mind. We'll see where the show takes us. So welcome very much for being here. Really appreciate it. Hope you're having a good time in DDO. Having trouble making a Dragonborn Pally as a new character, is this a known bug? I would need more information. You should be able to, as long as you have Dragonborn purchased from the DDO store or otherwise unlocked for you. You should be able to do that. Yeah, thanks Druid's Fire and Draculetta for both getting the word out on these various announcements, both for DDO and on the other game side as well. Also, thanks to everyone who hung out with us last Friday. We were at Punch Bowl Indy for a meetup outside of Gen Con, and geez, we had quite a few people there. I didn't do a head count because I'm an idiot, but it was well over 50, I can tell you that much. So that was really awesome, and we made some big announcements. Basically, we confirmed the Alchemist class, and we announced the Hardcore League, which I'll be getting into in just a second. We also talked a little bit more, I believe, about Keep on the Borderlands and did some general Q&A. A lot of folks at the meetup, of course, had their own questions for us, so that went well. I think everyone had a really good time. We had a good time. I do want to thank all the fine folks at Punch Bowl Indianapolis for being as accommodating as they were. They were quite excellent as well. I will get to that one question in a second. Let me double check my own calendar first. And I may be able to get you a little bit more info there. Just give me just a second. You know what, Shu? I didn't bring the Drow Minis. What I did bring was pretty much the last of our DDO dice. We had a couple of Sharn shirts that we gave away. Those were actually quite on the rare side as well. And we gave away basically all the swag that I could carry in a suitcase, and it worked out great. So everyone got something, and then there were some dice bags left over people could get. No is the answer to the question. Update 43 is not next week. What we do have going on right now is a preview on Lamania of the Hardcore League. So let me actually call up the quick web page on that for a second, and I will get into it with you. I am on my admin here on Lamania, which I will kind of show you a little bit more about. But right now we've got the Hardcore League preview open until sometime in the evening of Thursday. So that would be basically sometime probably early evening tomorrow, something like that. Why am I not able to call it up? Let me refresh the page quick. No. XSplit. Oh, it's because whiteboard is up. That's why. Now it should work. Now it should work. Now you should work. No, it's... Everyone just go to the DDO forums and take care of this for me. There we go. Welcome to the Hardcore League preview. Opens until sometime the evening of Thursday. Contains all the changes from our Hardcore League, which is really not that many, and we can get into that in a little bit. There is no test dojo going on right now. Basically what happens with the Hardcore League is when you die, you're done, and I'm going to show you what happens there in just a second. Death is permanent in the League. You can create more characters and keep competing, but once you die, you are dead. That means no res cakes, no shrines, no raised dead, no resing whatsoever, no death pact. etc., etc. You will get cosmetic rewards for reaching certain favors, like 1750 tier, 5000. I did have a question that is on One Life. It will, if you true reincarnate, just like on Live, that will reset your favor reward. Now, I know that that's maybe not ideal, but I think it was really just an issue of what would be the process to implement a system where favor would carry over through true reincarnation, and did that fit within the scope of what we're trying to do here? So that's why we're doing it the way we are. You will get an Eyes of Darkness cosmetic. If you get 5,000, you'll get a Bloody Footprints cosmetic, which I think is kind of sweet. 10 Reaper enhancement points, special cosmetic cloak. 20 Reaper enhancement points, special cosmetic cloak. I believe we actually told Drac what that was, I think. Reaching character level 20, a Blood Reaper pet, and we're going to have leaderboards basically throughout the course of the event, which begins on, let me call that up because I wanted to make sure I got that correct. Begins on August 16th and ends on November 15th. And we're going to be having updated leaderboards throughout. So you're basically going to go into the Hall of Heroes. And in the Hall of Heroes, there's going to be like kind of a Reaper NPC. And you'll click on that Reaper NPC, and it'll get you a list of leaderboards. And if you qualify for rewards, that is where you will get those as well. You cannot transfer anyone to the Hardcore League. Not whatsoever. We're all starting at the same place here. Even if you're an Iconic, you are going to be starting at level 1. Yes, you will have to take the Iconic level. Otherwise, basically everything is set just like it is on the normal, regular server. This is by intention. At least for this very first Hardcore League. This may be the only Hardcore League. There is no guarantee that this thing is coming back in the future. It is a grand experiment and a fun event more than anything else. And it's something that, we know, has been discussed in DDO for a really long time. The idea of like a permadeath server, so to speak. And we're doing this as an event. And one of the reasons we're doing it as an event is we want to make sure that we don't overly disrupt the regular gameplay. If we do ultimately see negative things as a result, well, we probably won't bring it back in the future. We'll see what we end up wanting to do with it. If everyone loves it and it's a big success, well, then, clearly we'll pay attention to that as well, right? So this is going to be kind of a really interesting event. So what's going to happen is on August 16th, we're going to be opening a special Hardcore League server. It is VIP only. You do have to be VIP or a Season Pass holder in order to participate. And you can just log in and play your level 1 character up, and when you die, smack, you're dead. We're going to see what happens here. And death is announced. World broadcasts are sent when a high-level character dies. Right now, during our Lamania preview, just to test the tech, we have it set particularly low, like at level 2. But for the Hardcore League itself, the intention is to gate it at level 10. So if you're a character at least level 10 and above and die, then a world broadcast is going to be set on that. Yeah, so that's really, I guess, the overview of the Hardcore League, and I can get into any sort of further questions, hopefully, as I can. So yeah, it's from our press release that got sent out on late Friday night, 1750 favor, Eyes of Darkness, 5,000 Bloody Footprints cosmetic, 10 Reaper enhancement points as a tattered cloak, a special tattered cloak, and a 20 Reaper enhancement points as a Blood Reaper pet. Yeah, it's not the same tattered cloak. And anyone who at least hits level 5 is going to be mentioned in kind of a big list in a future edition of the DDO Chronicles. So anyone who at least hits level 5 is going to get some recognition for that work. Also, I guess I should mention that when the Hardcore League wraps up after 90 days, we're going to open up a period where people can transfer their characters from the Hardcore League server to the regular servers. You still will not be able to go the other way, but you will be able to take your dead characters or living characters from the Hardcore League server and transfer them to one of the regular servers for free during a period of time after the Hardcore League is done. And that's to facilitate anything you might have, say, acquired during the Hardcore League runs that you've been doing that you're like, oh man, I really need that on my home server. You can do that. Basic world transfer rules apply. in terms of not being able to be the guild leader, for example, or what's the other kind of big one that tends to hang up? No, you have to have a character slot available on the server that you're coming to as well. So the basic rules apply. As a matter of fact, basically, in terms of the, well, can I do X? Can I do Y? Does X work? Does Y work? Regarding the Hardcore League, the answer is yes, with one exception. We are basically just like the regular live servers, except for when you die, you are dead. And I will show you what happens here in just a second. I'm on an admin character on Lamania. And the reason I'm on an admin character is I want to be able to, for the purposes of demonstration, show off some of the just sort of how it works. So let me just make a quick character. This one is going to, no, actually I don't need to be an admin if I'm level 30. So I'm just going to pop in the game and I'll show you what happens when you die. Did you hear August 18th? No. August 16th. Yes. The experience begins on August 16th and ends on November 15th. So, basically a week from Friday, it's going to open, and November 15th is a Friday as well. So, there you go. Alright, let me pop into the game world here. It will not need a separate launcher. It'll show up. I believe the nomenclature we're currently planning to use is Hardcore, or Hardcore League on the server selection screen, so you'll be able to differentiate that. Yeah, I think right now the plan is just call it Hardcore, but you know, we could probably call it Hardcore League if people cared one way or the other. But yeah, that's how it'll work. Will there be downtime for everyone to bring it live in the launcher? Very good question. I don't know the answer to, although my suspicion is no. There will not be downtime required. The reason on Lamania we have a little bug right now with the Hardcore Mortality vendor.
Come all.
That's why there's a little bunch of them here. On the actual live server, there'll be one.
The famed illusionists have returned to Stormreach, bringing their blend of showmanship and sorcery.
And we've lowered the thresholds for Lamania as well to be able to facilitate, you know, the length of the preview there. So this is based, you know, on Lamania right now. Here's an example of the leaderboards, both for Reaper XP and for Favor. And it looks like Tormod's in the lead here with some other good folks. Now, this opened up yesterday, so this will give you some sense of the progression that we're seeing. And there we go. So it's going to be like this on the live servers, most likely, although, of course, the thresholds, like I say, to hit the things are all going to be different. It's as stated earlier. Good going, Lessa, man. Lessa raking in the Reaper XP. Lessa, of course, not only being a personal friend, but also someone who is very into the PD scene. So, will you be able to party with others? Yes. If you get something with this event on Lamania, does it transfer to live? Heck no. No, this is a preview only. So, Yamini, as stated, the DDO store will be open. This is a regular server in all respects except for the fact that when you die, you're dead. For someone saying, oh my god, I'm concerned it'll be dead servers for 3 months. You know, that's one of the reasons why we are doing this as a limited time, one-time only event to start with here. And we'll see what happens from there. We don't want it to disrupt everyone's kind of home communities too much either. I mean, obviously some people are going to kind of go back and forth or check it out and all that sort of thing. But we're gonna see what happens here ultimately, and then make a decision. Oh my God, what am I doing? Don't I need to speak to who opened the doors? I suppose I should go. How do I get to the lower levels? Thanks. Okay, there we go. Pay attention to what I'm doing. Alright, so I'm just gonna let my character die here, and you will see what happens when my hit points get to zilch. Monk. Boom. Hey, Sparta, how you doing? Sev told you what the cloak was, Druid's Fire, yeah. Yeah. You can check out interview, basically, it's MMO Central for Druid's Fires and DDO players for Drax, if you want to go straight to the source. Sir dies a lot? So here's the thing, I am personally very excited to take part in this hardcore league. I think it's going to be pretty sweet, and I'm looking forward to it. I have some theories as to what's going to happen. How I might survive or not survive, as the case may be. I got some plans, but I don't really want to start talking strategy, because I don't know exactly, one, how accurate that theory crafting is going to be or not. I'm going to be really curious to see what ends up happening when the Hardcore League goes live and we kind of see what's going on. Alright, so I'm going to roll up just a regular level 1 character at this point, unless there's something in specific that people want me to show. Now, I'm not going to show the cosmetic rewards for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not 100% sure that they're ready yet, and I wouldn't want to debut them before they were ready. But for two, it's too early. I'm going to leave that as it is for now. So, one of the things that I expect I will not be the only person to do is, you know, all the regular tricks that are available to you on live are basically there now. So in terms of restatting and things like that, earning your hearts of wood, that kind of thing. So I have some theories as to how people will adjust their character builds, but we'll see. Shoemaker, remember this is just like the live server, so it's not a lack of raise spells, it's just they don't do anything. So if you want to be a fool and equip it, you can, but it ain't gonna work. So do with that what you will. Will there be PvP events in the Hardcore League? No. I can't possibly imagine we would do that, but theoretically we could, I guess. If we wanted to ruin everyone's time. Yeah. So, I'm probably going to go with Sovereign Host, because I'm going to want Unyielding Sovereignty eventually. I don't know what I would take for my first feat, but possibly Power Attack. Actually, maybe Quicken wouldn't be the worst idea. Or Spell Pen. Yeah, I'm going to do Spell Pen. Alright. That way I can try to hold, hopefully, a little bit better at low levels here. And I'm just going to keep the character like it is. Let's do that. No, we will not be doing events like dropping raid bosses on the market on the Hardcore League. We are going to respect people's gameplay there. So that's correct, I am Samoth. There was no general way to... Oh, dude, look at that. Sweet. There is no easy way to not grant those account level
You
rewards,
find
which is
yourself
part of the
waking
reason why
on the
we did
shore of
sort of
Flotsam.
things the way that we did.
Memories of a large white dragon striking your ship come flooding back.
Answer for Wonder Puff. Let me see. Will account rewards apply? Yes.
Oi, you ain't undead, are you?
What if we want to go to level 30 or higher than 20? Yes, you probably will want to do that. Especially if you're going for either the favor
You talk?
or the Reaper XP reward vendor. There's a pretty good chance,
If what the
I think,
halfling
that
said was
you
true,
will
no one but
end up
you
being
made it
above
to the
level 20
island
by the end of
alive.
that.
Follow me.
It may be worth following this rogue. For now.
No, Javur, that's the whole point. No bringing back to life. I mean, you can start another character, but the whole point of any kind of res that would preserve your progress goes against the very point of this event here. So.
Go ahead. Give it a few swings.
As you take hold of the weapon,
As you can see here, I do
feeling
have
its
the
balance,
cosmetics.
you
So,
can't help
you
but
know,
notice
one of the
this
things
Jeets has
that
more he wants to say.
obviously has been a big discussion is, what level of kind of store stuff and account unlocks and all that sort of thing, and what kind of impact that's going to have. I'm not really, it's not our place to necessarily tell you how to feel on that. It is my personal impression, and I am going to give a personal impression here, that ultimately, is it possible that you can get yourself a leg up by using like account unlocks and things like that? Sure. But when it comes to being competitive, I really think that stuff's going to play a pretty minimal role, as is evidenced by kind of who's on the leaderboards right now in Lamania.
Is this Selimus, the cleric you were sent to find?
So, Anna Frixian, are we not worried that with the Hardcore League we're going to be splitting up the player base on servers that, want to preserve their population? The answer to that is, worried is not what the term I'd use, but yes, that is one of the reasons that we're doing this as a 90-day event rather than, say, a permanent server or anything like that. I mean, there's other reasons why we're doing it as an event as well. But that is one of them, is we do want to be sensitive and careful about what kind of impact this has. We think it's going to be a positive impact overall. It'll bring in some players, and it'll challenge some players who are looking for that kind of challenge. It'll just be a really interesting thing to have done in DDO's history, and I think that people will ultimately appreciate it. Hopefully it won't lead to all the other servers being empty. If that's the case, then, clearly we'll see what we would have to do in terms of whether it ever came back, that kind of thing. So even in this tutorial here, you are... Oh, maybe I will be immune. Let me talk to her first.
First, I shall surround
Oh.
us with a protection.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, I was like,
Her spell
man, did we really not even do
temporarily
protection
prevents
from
you
death
dying,
during the
though
tutorial
you can
here?
still suffer injuries.
But, okay.
This effect will wear off when you leave these caves.
Yes, Nivmind. If you get a reward and then die, will you still have that reward for other servers? Yes, I suspect the order of operations to make that
Try up that
be a thing will be that you will have had to have talked to the NPC prior to death. So you can't, say, hit the favor reward as you die, probably, and then have that work.
You hear the
I think what you
shuffling
actually
and
need to
wheezing
do
of some
is...
creature coming from the corridor ahead.
Once you talk to the Reaper and unlock that reward, my belief and understanding is that it basically puts on an account flag. So that would then deliver the various reward to your account in the same way that like an expansion purchase would or something like that.
The corroded lever at the
But I
rear
believe
of
it's
this
the interaction
corridor
with the
most
NPC
likely
that sets
controls
that
the
flag.
gate where the cleric, Selimus, is waiting.
no time to dawdle.
Yes, you can reincarnate. Yes, you will lose your accumulated favor,
Selimus isn't
just
too
like
bad,
online.
Thanks for putting in the good word. Don't you worry, Selimus. I'm I'm here to watch your behind.
Will there be a way to access gear with a new character if your character dies? Not on that character. There is a shared account bank, just like on Live. So you will have the opportunity to, as you're leveling up, perhaps help seed gear for your next character if they die, if the one you're working on dies or something. But in terms of what your current character is wielding at death, it is not going to be possible to trade that to another person. As I understand it, I can't think of a way that that would work. When will Cove come back? Tomorrow is the answer to that question. We are going to be, we've been hearing your requests lately for Crystal Cove. Crystal Cove hasn't really been updated since it came out earlier this year, so don't expect anything new or anything. But it will be available. We're planning to open it up tomorrow and run it through the following 2 weekends. Now, what that does do is put the final weekend of Crystal Cove at the same weekend as the opening of the Hardcore League. But we were talking about it, and for the most part, usually by the second weekend, things are a lot more chill on Crystal Cove, and those who really want to will do what they want to do. I don't think it'll interfere too much. But if all of a sudden everyone were like, no, then we'll just have to postpone Crystal Cove till probably at least after 43. Will the XP changes be coming into effect? Yes. That will be with update 43, which will happen during the tenure of the Hardcore League. Also, it's highly likely Alchemist will come out during the tenure of the Hardcore League as well. But we'll see how that goes. No, actually, I don't think that's true.
Curious. I just stepped on something.
No, I don't think that's true. Let me take that back. I believe I was incorrect on that.
Hydrophobia mean anything to you?
You grab the silver key. Time to swim for the surface.
Yeah, sorry. Let me completely take that back. I don't think that's at all accurate.
Andy, this way.
Yeah.
I'm weary.
Will there be a lot of trolling in public groups with permadeath? Hopefully not. Hopefully the people you're running with are going to be cool.
Why don't you scout ahead then?
We'll see.
Just don't get yourself in trouble.
Now you're talking. I'll take a little peek.
If you're done resting, go and scout ahead with Jeets.
Ultimately, I think everyone's playing under the same rules, regardless of how, say, for example, perfectly balanced those rules are. So you may well find a situation where if you find a situation where you can't group because everyone's trolling you, that's a problem that we would probably have to deal with at the very least if we were to ever bring it back. But honestly, I think you're just going to need to find people that
Truly, you can
aren't
open the door
idiots
now.
to run with. If that were to be a concern. I don't think it will be, though. I don't think it will be.
You two having fun?
Because I know the DDO community enough to feel that we're going to
The High Priestess should
have the
know
right
ahead.
attitude.
The onus for much suffering rests squarely upon her slimy, webbed hands. There she is, performing some kind of profane blood magic.
I will open the door. Prepare yourself. Ready? Go!
It's true, lag could theoretically be an issue. We are going to have it count, as there's no way not to. But we're going to have it count. Hopefully it won't be an issue. We're in a pretty good place right now for the most part, I think, on DDO, so we'll see.
I must cleanse the profane energies around the shrine.
I would assume the answer is yes, you would permanently die in the brawling area if you chose to go into PvP on the Hardcore League server, which I guess that's a choice. That's something you could do if you really wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it. You know, just saying. The same is also true about, we've talked about, you know, Shroud Part 5, right? Shroud Part 5 is going to kill you, just like normal, and yes, that will mean that you will go permadead on that character. So I would recommend not running Shroud Part 5. There isn't really a chest by clicking on that portal correctly. Yes, it's the same account.
My rogue senses are tingling. There's something fishy in this room. Try searching around. Brilliant. Tidy lashes and pints up the wazoo. Here I come.
We're almost done here. The way out is up ahead. But first, I want to reward you for your assistance. Please, come speak with
Yeah,
me.
Bruce Shepard, apparently to some level within an instance you will see others who have died. Because I was just seeing someone here on Lamania. I didn't actually know that that was going to be the case, but that's it. It looks like the answer to that is yes. Are the eyes similar to Reaper eyes? I believe so. But like dark and black, I believe is the intention. I'm having a seltzer water. That's what I'm drinking. So it is true, you know, you're going to get certain things for your rewards, like cosmetic pets and all that. You will get the permanent hirelings, you know, the ravens, etc. And you will get a few boosts. But, you know, I know there also daily dice is going to be available,
Stepping
so the
out of the
typical
grotto,
kind
you
of
find
advantages
yourself
that
in
you could get
Korthos
from your
village.
freebies there is
The
going to count.
Sahuagin
You
have
know, there's a whole
threatened
bunch of
this
things
place
like
for
that. So.
generations. Judging from how it looks now, the Sahuagin are winning.
Okay, there's a
However,
vendor right here.
some hopeful souls still hold out for help to arrive.
Well, bards come pre-dead. Nice. You know, here's what I think. No, I can't. I have so much. I have been waiting. You know, this has clearly been in discussion for a while now. I mean, for years, frankly. But it's serious. No, we're actually going to give this a shot for a little while now. And I've been theory crafting like crazy in my head, in terms of how it's going to work, who's going to do what. You know, what's going to be the builds that are best. What are going to be the ones that don't. I have theories, but we'll see what ends up happening. I actually think bards have a distinct advantage because of their ability to, say, fascinate high-level mobs, for their ability to self-heal, for their high attack speed, for their versatility, for their buffage. I've heard compelling arguments about Warlock due to the top-tier DPS and ability to hit from a distance. I've considered War Domain Clerics because you're going to get, besides all the martial special proficiencies, so that you could easily get into, say, Dwarven Axe or Kopesh or something like that. Lots of self-healing, including proc healing from, you know, say, Radiant Servant, things like that. So I think there's a lot of valid tactics, really. When I see on the forums, oh, everyone's just going to play X, I don't actually think that's true. And on top of that, I suspect people are going to build their point characters a little different, because remember, you can respec some of this stuff for free through methods in the game. So for example, the quiz that you can get in the marketplace, people will be taking advantage of that. So you may well find yourself doing a stat distribution for a certain level range that you might either swap in or swap out of during the event. So we're gonna see what happens here. I will be very curious. I've got some theories, but I don't know.
coming from deep in the crypt. You hear the strange and unsettling
Yes, season pass
echoes that
holders will
Caius
get their
spoke
daily
of.
gold rolls.
And by the
This is true.
passage leading in, a grim-faced man glares at you.
Will the Hardcore League have the same weekend bonuses and live events that the mainstream servers have, such as Crystal Cove and Night Revels? That is an undetermined question at this point. Our initial thinking on it at this stage is probably not. Only because some of the event stuff may, for example, not operate on the same time schedule due to the needs of that 90 days. Do people really want the bonuses? I'm not clear that people would. I don't know. It's an unanswered question at this point, but I think it's trending toward probably not. Yes, iconic races will start their level 1 at their required class.
Strange. Sarcophagi line the walls, but they're broken. You notice something strange about the wall to the west. If you search the wall, you may discover more. You notice something strange about the wall to the west. If you search
I
the
actually
wall,
expect
you may discover
for people
more.
who... I can't imagine there are too many of you out there, but for people who actually care to see me doing hardcore League play, I am actually
What
think
were
I'm
those
going to end up
cultists
doing
up to?
a lot of streaming of
This
hardcore
bears
League. At least at this point,
strange
that's
about
my
the
feeling
wall to
on
the
it.
west. If you
Because
search
this
the
concept
wall,
is very
you may
intriguing to
discover
me, and
more.
really just
A treasure chest
works
glimmers
with
in the
my
dark
kind of
passage
2006
here.
era brain. So I'm really
Though
working
rusty,
on it.
this
And I expect to be
longsword is
doing a
still
bunch of
sharp.
kind of rando streaming
It's a
on
slashing
DDO
weapon,
stream.
perfect
It'll be
for
on DDO
slicing
stream
through
rather than any
putrid
kind of
zombie
personal.
flesh that would resist puncturing or bludgeoning weapons.
Yes, Growler, when an iconic hits level 15, they
There's a
will get their
Sahuagin
iconic
here,
weapon and
performing
item
some
grants
kind of
as
ritual.
typical.
Come,
In the same way
dead
that you
son of
do on the live
Porthos,
server if you choose not to
rise
start
and
at level
doom
15
The altar
and then
glows with
hit that.
dark power, and the Sahuagin continues.
Kill. Kill everyone in Porthos. Kill anyone.
I don't know,
who
Growler.
helped
I
them.
I don't know that we've settled on that question yet. What do you think? What do you guys and gals think over in the chat room? Do you want the weekend bonuses on the Hardcore League, or do you think that would just be problematic? And also, let me pop on over to YouTube now. Will the anniversary card be back later? Sorry, no. We will not be bringing the anniversary card event back anytime soon. My mic gain needs to be a little higher. Okay, I had actually cranked it up a little prior to the show, but I can do a little more. I had all my microphones kind of taken out due to the needs of a recording session. But let me pop that up a little bit louder, hopefully, maybe. All right. I have to admit that I am actually thinking I will be doing a lot of soloing on the Hardcore League, only because I know my own pace that's going to be successful. Well, as successful as I'm going to be able to be with myself. And I think that a lot of times when I die, it's when I get outside of that comfort zone. So I actually have a feeling that I will be joining groups, clearly. I mean, there's some content if you really want to grab the favor from it. Oh my gosh, you're not going in solo. But I think I'll be doing a lot of solo play, frankly, on the Hardcore League. We'll see what ends up happening, though. Maybe I'm going to need it, as it were. Especially as you start going into Reaper, if you're on that track.
The Sahuagin
No
were
one
using this
technically has
vile
to.
devourer
All you need to do
altar
is hit
create
level 20 on a
undead.
character to
This must not be allowed
get that
to
one
continue.
cosmetic. But if you want to be competitive, say in the
A
leaderboards
magical
or the other
crest
rewards, then
appears from the
you know,
destroyed altar.
you're going to be running
If you
Reaper.
take it with you, it may be useful later. You continue to hear cultists about their evil work
Forehand, you can
from
have more than one
further
character
inside
for
the
sure.
crypt.
It's just that when that character dies, they're dead. So typical kind of slot rules will apply on that kind of thing. So. And we'll head over to Facebook here in just a second.
As you slay these foul cultists, take care to keep your own health up.
Yeah, I can show the Lamania live stream again for sure. No problem. All right. Weekly bonuses should be on hardcore, same except for no resurrection. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess it based on the logic of, hey, whatever, it's just like the regular live server except. That is a perfectly valid argument to have the weekend bonuses apply. Have the mimic event run during it. Oh, that's mean. Ooh, that's mean. I like it. Right now, we are doing a preview through tomorrow early evening, I believe, on Lamania. This is a separate game client you will need to download. If you do want to download the Lamania public
Another
preview
treasure
server,
chest.
you can do
Perhaps
so
the
by
cultists
going to
brought it here,
DDO.com,
but it's
click
you-
on the
this
forums,
heavy mace
go
is a
into the
bludgeoning
Lamania
weapon,
forums, and do it
ideal
from
for
there.
smashing apart skeletons. Their bones are resistant to puncturing or slashing weapons.
I'm going to say
There's another
probably not. Maybe
Sahuagin.
that would just be too
It
mean.
croaks.
Being unconscious
Crag
will
wolf
work as
hating.
regular,
In
so
life
things
you
like
served
extended
the light.
unconsciousness range may
But in
well
death,
be a viable
You shall serve
uh,
the devourer.
an excellent idea.
The Sahuagin gloats.
Actually, I've got a bow I can proc from a distance. Or did I not get that? Nope, I didn't get it. Okay, not yet. That's fine. Yeah, and you can find the link to Lamania pretty easy. I bet if you just Google Lamania, you can find too much more. So probably be all good there. Oh, got something weird going on with that one Skelly. With a 10 charisma, ain't gonna get any turn undead. That was probably a mistake, but for now, I wanted to go, at least initially, until I get up some PRR, MRR, and other things. I just maxed out 18 con, because, you know.
These devourer altars will create a blight of undead upon Korthos. You know what needs to be done.
Clerics will get nothing other than their revive spells. Clerics have a very
Another
wide
crest
spell list to
drops
choose
out
from,
as you
particularly if you
smash
don't
the
need to use
altar.
those slots
There
for
might still be
raised dead
other
spells.
altars
May
elsewhere
well
in
open
this
up some
crypt.
options for you. But yes, you can be healed from unconsciousness. However, things like Jack Gibbers, Death Pact, etc. will not function. So. Death Pact will not work. As a matter of fact, you know that some people in chat were there yesterday when a big plus Cordovan died message hit Lamania. That was actually me testing out Death Pact. I tested out Death Pact to see if it would do something bad that we would need to address before going live, and the answer is no. You can have Death Pact on you, and the only benefit it gives you is -2 con. So, enjoy! You know. It did not bypass the death proc or whatever it is, however you want to call it. This character is not actually set to admin status. Even though I'm on an admin account, so I could kind of show things off for you and stuff. This character is just set with the regular flag. Actually, you know what? I'm fine. I'm gonna hang on for a bit. So any effect that says on death will not function. So any kind of thing that's like when, well, I guess that's not entirely true because there is, what, at least one ability that on death is an AoE something or other to the rest of your party. That would continue to happen. But otherwise, you know, death is death and there's no bypassing it. I'm not going to risk that trap chest, not for the stuff that's in here. Got to be a better chest than that for me to do it. Yeah, I need to re-look up Divine Intervention. I can't remember what it does.
Is an evil devourer altar. By it, a Sahuagin rumbles.
For generations.
But anyway, if it doesn't proc on death, then it should work.
Now the dead Hayton shall serve the devourers.
Oh, actually, wait, is Divine Intervention the thing that gives you like the mega hit point boost, tier 5 something or other? Yeah. What happens to your character after the season is over? You have an opportunity to transfer it for free off of the Hardcore League server to the server of your choice. Typical world transfer rules will apply in terms of you've got to have an available character slot under the server you're transferring to, that kind of thing. But it will be free for a period of time afterwards. And, you know, as we've been try to be clear from the start, this is a 90-day event rather than, say, any kind of permanent thing. And we are not committing at all to bringing this thing back in the future. So, in terms of preservation of your character to the, quote, next Hardcore League, we don't even know if there will be a next Hardcore League. But if there were to be one, we would probably start everyone from the same starting point again. I think that would be an option that we would have to figure out, but pretty positive that if it were to ever come back, it would also start fresh. Is there a chance for the Alabaster Lioness to come back? I don't believe so, because that was a specifically time-gated event, an exclusive item to that, so I believe that may prevent us from being able to bring it back in any
The
time.
Sahuagin inside spits out in a venomous voice.
These fools who would keep Korthos shall be consumed by the Devourer.
Looking down at a corpse on the altar, the Sahuagin says,
And you, dead hero of hate and blood, shall be the Devourer's teeth.
There we go. All right. Yeah, the world broadcast on death is pretty good.
Your bold action saved Korthos and brought the Sahuagin's fell scheme to naught. The treasure chest in the antechamber is now yours.
Traveler's Trunk will most certainly come back at some point in the future. we have to bring it back. No, we don't. And we are not committing to doing so even. We'll see. This is an event. In the same way that someday we could bring back the Marketplace tent event, it is possible this could come back as well. We'll see.
Some of the braver villagers tried to stem the Sahuagin tide, but their courage led to naught but grievous injuries. Korthos needs someone with more than just guts.
Are pets permadeath as well? Artificer Dog, Pale Master Skelly? No, that's that'll work just like on the regular server, where after whatever amount of time you can bring them back. In Thrixian, I would highly recommend, in regard to what can we say about the Alchemist, I would take a look at the interview that was done with DDO Players News this week, and you can find that at ddoplayers.com. Linabel said it was part of that interview, and really kind of broke some fun news as to how the Alchemist will feel, play, how the spells are going to work, some of the underlying systems involved, things like that. And that it was a good job. So I would actually just suggest that you check that out in terms of kind of learning more about how the Alchemist will play. And for those of you who don't want to be spoiled, that I preserve that a little bit too. I would just say in general they're going to play with their own unique system, their own unique spells, and some really cool kind of attacks and animations, like the ability to lob things and roll them on the ground until they explode, things like that. So. No, I'm not hanging out in the Wayward Lobster Pit.
This appears to be the main storeroom. It seems the villagers have been preparing for a protracted siege.
Did I mention that I was able to find the original DM recording for the I served in the last war? You know, that one? Unfortunately, the recording doesn't reference the name of the person who did the voice work, and that info is not known to me. And as far as I can tell, we've not been able to uncover who that was. It's a little bit of a mystery, who that original DM voice guy was. A special broadcast for High Lords of Malakir deaths. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Our press release does use the word permadeath, and clearly on the forums a lot of people are calling it, you know, the PD server or a permadeath server or whatever. We're deliberately trying to lessen the use of that word by calling it the Hardcore League and Hardcore, because there is an existing very much existing and active PD community in DDO, and we don't want to sort of step on their toes either through nomenclature or kind of culture, right? We don't want people to feel like, well, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. Maybe I'm actually going to take that potion and resist fire now.
A large silk Sahuagin emerges from a hidden passage, demanding the key.
And so that's why we're using the word Hardcore League. I would describe it as permadeath-like. L-I-K-E. And the reason I would describe it thusly is because of the additional restrictions that exist in our current permadeath culture that will not be available in the Hardcore League. In addition, like I say, this is more of an event than kind of a long-term thing. So we'll see what ends up happening with it. But it didn't feel right to step on the toes of our existing permadeath players and culture by calling it any kind of permadeath server. Will shrines be active for hirelings? That's a very good question. I will need to check. I'm thinking maybe. Because I don't believe hirelings are going to have the PD flag. It's a good question. Good question. I think the answer
The
is
door swings open, revealing a it appears that the floor in this room can be moved and
That's one
rotated.
we'll have to look into. That's part of the reason why you do something like this for Lamania, so that you can catch those things. It's like, oh, yeah, right, we got to worry about that, you know, etc. Oh, actually, I don't even need to do that. What am I doing?
The spell dissipates. All that remains now is to take and deliver the scroll.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Growler. Keep asking, is there any way to help folks if there is a mass lag event? No. We are not. I mean, hopefully that won't be a problem. If it's a problem, ain't nothing we're going to do about it. Yes, there'll be will be a big spam announcement in there. Yeah. Hopefully that won't happen though. Yeah. All right, so we're actually pretty much wrapping up here for the preview. Let me actually just kind of go in someplace quick where I can test. Oh, actually, where? Well, anyway, let me see. Trying to think if there's a quick way I can test the shrine thing. I guess I'll have to go through the question here though first. Or no, it's not ready yet either for that. I mean, so, you know, people are saying, well, just fill up your party with hirelings and win. I don't know if that'll make you win, for one. I think a lot of the concerns are, there's a lot to talk about, and it will be really interesting. There's a part of me that feels that...
Come one, come all, to the Degenev Brothers show. The
in
famed
practice,
illusionists
it will
have
be
returned
less of
to
an issue,
Stormreach,
just due to the
bringing
reality
their
of
blend
various
showmanship
factors
and
involved.
sorcery along with them.
In terms of is X available, is Y available, the answer to that is absolutely yes. And here we go. Let me quick bring in a hireling. Yeah, it probably does cause an X. Actually, this isn't the right hire. Let me dismiss this person, bring in someone better. I want a good level 1 person. Let's see. And let's do low level. Let's find someone who's real squishy. Elf Sork, that sounds okay. Buy item, put them in. Set them to passive. And then just send them out. No, I'll set them to passive. Oops. Where did all my DDO points go? That's because I'm on Lamania. It's a different... They have different account flags. And are they not even gonna attack them? Alright, this isn't the right quest, I guess. I thought it would be because of the shrine there, but it's just not going to work. Alright, well, I think we're just going to kind of have to leave that unanswered. I'm sure someone on Lamania here will be able to get an answer to that question, and we'll get it for you here later. So, no, we're not going to do a global announcement as to cause of death. Some of that messaging can be somewhat scattered, and it just doesn't make sense. Yes, do not slash death. I would strongly recommend that you not slash death. As a matter of fact, let's... Well, no, I don't want to go through that again. I'm actually going to keep this character here for the day, in case I got more stuff I want to test. The weekend bonus, thank you. Weekend bonus is an extra plus 5% VIP XP. In addition, we're going to be debuting Crystal Cove, starting tomorrow, running through August 18th. So, there you go. Thanks very much for watching. I'll be back next week. Probably be on the regular servers next week, and that should be Thelanis, if I recall correctly. We'll see what we end up running. I've got both low and high level characters there, so kind of play it by ear. Thanks very much for watching, everyone, and I'll talk to you again soon.